Hello and welcome to another edition of Stock Watch. So as we end the trading week, we're here. It's a very good time for the airline industry as they are gearing up for a post-pandemic boom in travel. And Boeing has really started looking at this seriously because they're planning to ramp up production and saying it sees a recovery to pre-pandemic levels of demand in the next few years. Now you might think the next few years is a few years away, quite a long time away, but in this day and age, a few years of planning goes a long way. And with the airline industry and tourism being hit so detrimentally over the past year, that it's quite an exciting time for companies like Boeing. And the shares actually jumped almost 4% yesterday over the $250 mark, which we'll see in the charts shortly. But it's a very, very bullish sentiment in the market at the moment, especially for airline stocks. So, that comes as the order book has seen a new life after the 737 MAX, or the detrimental crashes that happened in the last couple of years. It has been a couple of years to forget for Boeing in general, as they really look to bounce back from not only the pandemic, but also the stories, the sad stories, let's say, before that as well. So while all orders could be picking up, Boeing have actually just paid, or in the process of paying, a $17 million fine as part of the Federal Aviation Administration, the FDA, settlement over installing unimproved sensors on the 737 MAX and 737 next generation aircraft. But it's seen as a good thing for Boeing because they can put these stories behind them now for lawsuits and getting fined. So if these are out of the way, then obviously they can concentrate on the upcoming potential orders. We hear that Southwest Airlines in America are actually expanding, have expanded 17 destinations across America, and obviously they'll need a lot more orders from Boeing as well. So this is a very good, that's just from one airline company. So imagine what the rest of the world is doing. So very, very bullish sentiment, as I said, from Boeing. And sticking with the aerospace industry, in Europe, Air France have actually suspended until further notice any flights, and Lufthansa, sorry, they're both suspended any flights going in and out of Belarus because of the recent, let's say, problematic news when a scrambled fighter jet flagged a plane carrying someone that was going to another country. They actually diverted the plane to Belarus. It was a dissident journalist basically, and this provoked condemnation from not only European countries but from America and NATO as well. So we'll see if that affects anything else in the aerospace industry in Europe as well. We'll keep an eye on that as well to see what the potentials are. So like I said, Boeing, very, very buoyant at the moment. We had this jump. This is on the daily chart with the assistance of the Ichimoku cloud. As usual, it's jumped up almost 4% over the $250 barrier, which is quite significant. And even more significant enough, we're actually on the top end of the Ichimoku cloud now. So the bias is firmly on the upside. So, if we do get a bit more upside when the market opens, then I'll be looking at these recent peaks, which have been in the spotlight for the last few months when we did get that recent resurgence in Boeing after it kind of climbed on the down to the downside. So I'm just going to be looking at certain divergences on the RSI. We kind of are seeing one develop here at the moment, but this is bearish. So I am being a bit cautious at the moment. Let's just bring it down to a 4-hour chart. And again, we're seeing a bit of a recovery now. We're on the top side of the Ichimoku cloud. Like I said, it's very, very important. The base and convergent Ichimoku indicators are on the upside as well. So very, very buoyant and very, let's say for bulls, it's very, very good viewing, that's for sure. So just something to keep an eye out in the aerospace industry, especially for Boeing, because they're constantly in the headlines when it comes to these kind of things, and we'll see what the potentials are. Just quickly take a look at Lufthansa as well. Haven't looked at these for about a month, but just keeping an eye on the aerospace industry as well. So again, we're having a bit of a detrimental downturn, not as popular as Boeing because obviously Lufthansa are a different kettle of fish. But we are looking to see if we're going to start spiking this lower border of the Ichimoku cloud. If prices do depreciate slightly, we could get a slight bullish divergence here, which could start propelling prices higher if, as I said, if prices do start waning slightly. But let's look on the 4-hour chart just to see what the potentials are intraday. And again, we are just hovering under the Ichimoku cloud. The two conversion and baselines are starting to narrow, which could indicate some kind of breakouts shortly. So again, we're just looking to see what the potentials are in the long term. We're finishing off the trading week, obviously, so markets will kind of die down at the, especially for the European session because it's a Euro stock. So in the afternoon, just to when the American session opens, just to kind of have that in mind that some prices will stop really moving so much as we get into the evening session. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to add them to the post, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.